Plague Tale: Innocence is a story-based adventure game with elements of stealth, puzzle solving, and even some light horror. And although I passed over it when it first released, I recently played through it thanks to my Game Pass subscription, and I have to say, the game is superb. I really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend it to anyone unless you have a massive phobia of rats, in which case you'll find this absolutely terrifying. I don't have such a phobia, and there are some parts of the game I found a little dark, but overall, the game is excellent. Hi folks, it's Mark here once again bringing you my review of A Plague Tale: Innocence. If you're interested, you can check out my entire playthrough at the link down below. Now, Plague Tale is set in medieval France, and it's been a really bad week for the local villagers, as some horrendous plague has set in, taking the lives of humans and animals alike. And not only that, it's been accompanied by swarms of black rats infesting the place. And these just aren't any old natural rat. These look like some sort of demonic rats with glowing red eyes. Now, as you may have guessed, this plague does not seem entirely natural, and it's somehow linked to a local French noble family. The exact details of which you'll discover more as you progress through the story. And here's where the game throws its first unusual twist at you, because you actually play as the family's teenage daughter, Amicia, and it's your task to escort Amicia's younger brother, Hugo, to safety and try and save him from, well, just whatever the hell is going on after their parents have an unfortunate meeting with the Inquisition. The game is an interactive story which you progress by helping Amicia and Hugo escape from one area to the next, whilst slowly unlocking a few details and trying to discover just what is going on. Gameplay-wise, it's a mixture of stealth, particularly at first. Remember, you are playing a teenage girl in medieval France. She's not going to be going around butchering the locals. With a little bit more combat sneaking in as you progress, and a good element of puzzle solving akin to the Desperado series, where you have to learn how to distract certain guards to sneak past other ones, to access an area and then get on safely without ever getting discovered. But the Inquisition guards are only one obstacle you'll have to face, as the place is littered with these rat swarms, and these are quite terrifying, but it's where another puzzle element comes in, as they don't like the light. They don't like fire, which you can use to your advantage to scare them away, chase them away, bar them from going to certain areas, leaving you the option to travel in that area. It's a lot of puzzle solving where you have to think, right, I need to light this up, I need to carry a torch over here to get to that where I can light that fire so I can progress over there and shine that torch into that corner so the rats run away, which lets you get to the next area and unlock the next bit of the story. Okay, let's talk about the graphics and sound, and I was very impressed with both, especially the graphics. I really enjoyed these. A lot of the outdoor locations looked absolutely stunning. There was a lot of detail in there which really made you feel like you were going through medieval villages and locations and cathedrals and forests. I really liked it a lot, and it's got almost a soft focus touch to it, which just adds something. I really found it very visually pleasing. The audio too is very well done, with some excellent voice acting, especially from the children in the game, of which there are many, not just Amicia and Hugo.
I don't know who you are, but thank you.
We need to leave. The other guards must have heard that. What's that door?
A special order. My father's masterpiece.
And do you know how to open it? Because that would be a real help.
Hey, you there! Guard!
But all the voices sound like they're professionally acted and add to the atmosphere and really enhance the story. There's also a very good soundtrack that accompanies the game, and the tempo changes to match the mood and the setting that you're in. Right then, on to my likes and dislikes, and starting as always with the good stuff, the first thing that I really want to praise is the story. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it, and it kept me guessing all the way through. I never really knew where it was going to go, and I had lots of theories when you discovered a new bit of information, which then soon got shot down as I tried to figure out, what was this plague about? Why were the rats there? How was Hugo pivotal to all of this? And what did the Inquisition want? Every time I thought, I think I know where this is going, no, I was wrong, and that theory was blown out, and I discovered something new at the next part of the game. And I love stories that do that to you. You really want to find out what happens at the end, but you just don't always know until you get there. At one point, it did feel like a bit of a Famous Five adventure when you gather this band of other runaway kids and vagabonds to try and achieve something, which is really cool, but it certainly doesn't end like a Famous Five adventure. I will say that without spoiling anything. And supporting this story was the voice acting. I was really impressed by this. At times, Hugo's voice, because he plays a very young boy in this, it did sound like it was maybe overly cute. I could imagine the voice maybe grating on someone a little bit, but it fitted the character very well, this innocent child who's barely been let out of the house because, well, you'll find out why because in the game. But the voice acting in general, it just was excellent from both the main characters, the supporting characters, and even just the guards and bad guys roaming around. It made it a pleasure to listen to, and it really enhanced the story. And the main characters of the game actually worked really well. It's not often in a video game you will play as a young teenage girl, as the main heroine, the main protagonist of a story, and have to escort the younger brother through. This is a pretty rare and original sort of experience in a game, and I thought, how much fun is this going to be, really? And I was shocked. It's actually really good. And the choice of characters for this, rather than playing the local blacksmith's son born to greater glory or something and becoming the hero of the realm, this actually works really well and is a whole lot of fun all the way through. The gameplay as a whole was all very pleasurable. It was all good, everything. At the start of the game, it's all about stealth, as Amisha doesn't really have the abilities to tackle any of the guards. It's more about distracting them, sneaking past, just trying to make an escape, get away, get to a new zone, picking up a few things that she's going to need to support her and Hugo as they go on. And this actually works really well. It feels like playing Desperados 3, if any of you have tried that, where you come across a situation, you've got some guards patrolling, and you have to stop and think. And this is where one of the puzzle elements comes in. You have to think, right, I need to distract Fred over there so I can sneak around the back of that wall, but Bert is watching the back of that wall, so I'm going to have to wait till he's looking the other way. Then I can get into that house, and meanwhile Fred's come back, and I distract Bert to make him look that way whilst I run over to Percy in the distance. And it's that sort of puzzle solving. And once you figure out the first step in that chain, the rest kind of falls into place. At no point do the puzzles feel too hard to me. They're just nicely paced and just makes you stop and think about it a little bit. Some of them can be completed in different ways. There's not necessarily just one way of doing every situation, and certainly later on your options open up a lot as you get some rather more aggressive abilities, and Amisha gets a rather dangerous sling. There is combat in the game later on, at which point it feels a bit more like Assassin's Creed Light in some cases, where you do have to take people out to progress. It's certainly not combat focused, but it is a nice addition, and the way it works, it's going to test your reactions to some extent. But just going back to the puzzles again, another great element of puzzling in this is how to deal with the rat swarms. They are absolutely lethal, and they are in some cases terrifying, as they will just eat anything that they touch, human, animal, or whatever, and they're not fussy whether it's alive or dead. This, of course, is a major hazard to you as you play. You need to keep away from them, and you do that by using fire or other light sources. They will not come into the light at all. So you're safe as long as you have a lit torch. And then this works into the puzzles as well. You've got to work out how you can maybe carry a lighted piece of wood long enough to get you to the next light zone where it's going to be safe. How maybe you can light a fire from a distance. Maybe you can light torches using Amisha's sling. And it also works for how to get past some of the guards. See, the guards aren't stupid. They have torches, they have fires. Well, if you can put those torches and fires out, they'll get swarmed and eaten alive from the feet up by the rats, which is pretty damn gruesome to see and quite terrifying. Even more terrifying when you drive a horde of rats in front of you using fire, and there's some poor sod trapped against a wall, and you just drive the rats into it, and he goes down screaming. It's where the light horror aspect of the game comes in. It's very well done. And again, no situation is too difficult that you think, I just can't do this. This is frustratingly ridiculous. They're all just correctly paced, in my opinion, and I like the whole aspect of it a lot. Another great thing about the game is the length of it is just right. You'll get probably between 10 and 15 hours of playthrough on your first go through this game. I think it took me about 12 when I was streaming it, which normally takes a little longer than just playing it by yourself. And it was perfect. It was a fairly short game, but it got the story across. At no point did it feel it was dragging out, and the game ended before anything felt it was becoming over-repetitive. You know, the situation you get in games where you think, yeah, I've gone past these situations where the guards are watching the walls and I have to go around here and do that and distract him so many times before, and I'm bored now because I've done it for hours and hours. Never got to that, because every situation, every encounter seemed like a fairly fresh puzzle that you had to figure out. and never did the game feel like it was repeating itself just to draw things out. Now, one thing that will extend your playtime or make you want to play through the game again is that there are lots of hidden lore items in the game. I went through thinking that I had explored fairly thoroughly every area I was in, and when we looked at the end, no, I had found but a fraction of these special hidden lore items, which have a cool few notes with them, and I think some of them are actually historical as well from the period, so there was some interest there. But you might want to play through second and third time to try and go and find these and see where they are hidden. There was one thing that I just could not get to in the game. I knew there was something hidden in a particular area because I could almost see it from where my character was, but I just couldn't see a way of getting through the rat swarms from where I was. And that's cool because it means there's another way around to that I hadn't figured out or hadn't come across. So there's a little bit of replay value if you're into collecting things and if you're a bit of a completionist. And now a few minor points that I didn't like so much about Plague Tale. We'll start with the gathering and looting of items. You need to pick stuff up as you craft things as you go through. You craft ammunition, you craft upgrades for your equipment and stuff that you're going to need. The good thing about it is the game always makes sure you've got exactly what you need in any one location to get past a particular obstacle or puzzle. However, by the end of the game, trying to go everywhere and just pick everything up to try and upgrade your equipment as much as possible, I found that got a little bit tedious. There was a lot of things to pick up, and I just found that instead of trying to just attempt the obstacles to get past the guards to advance the story, I was thinking, well, crap, I better go look in that hole over there, I better look around the back of that wall, there might be something I need. And it just slowed the pace of things down a little bit. It wasn't overdone, it wasn't too bad, and the crafting of the upgrades is nice. I didn't get everything built, so there's either things I missed or there's different options for another playthrough for some of the basic things you can upgrade. It's not exciting stuff. It's just like bigger pockets to carry more stuff, an ammunition pouch that lets you reload faster, more dangerous sling, stuff like that. But in the end, I don't think it really made a big difference to the game either. So, it's not that big a deal. The replay value in this game, I'm in two minds about this because the main draw of the game is the story. And once you've played through the story, well, that's it. You play through again, it's going to be exactly the same outcome. The game is on rails. As far as I know, you can't influence whether certain people survive or not throughout the game, certain characters, certain friends. You can't change the ending. It is what it is. And it's going to last between 10 and 12, 15 hours, something like that. So do you want to play through it again to experience the exact same story? Probably not, unless you're looking for these hidden items, these lore items and stuff, if you're a bit of a completionist. I'm not, so I don't feel compelled to go and play through it again, but I did really enjoy the time that I was in the game, and it cost me next to nothing through my Game Pass subscription. The only other thing that I can say negatively about it is that I thought there were just a couple of questions at the end which were left unanswered. Again, I don't want to spoil any of the story, but there's a few things I would have liked an explanation of, a cutscene of, to say, well, this happened to the rats, this happened to the Inquisition, whatever, something like that. There's a couple of things that maybe I missed when I was playing through, I don't know, but I would have liked a couple more questions answered to really feel like the story had been finished. Whether this is intentionally leaving things open for any sort of sequel, I don't know. The ending did maybe suggest that was going to be a possibility, but, well, we'll have to wait and see. So overall, I found A Plague Tale Innocence superb. I really enjoyed it, had much more of a blast than I ever expected to, and I'd rate this game 8.5 out of 10. It is short, it's going to be over quick. I don't know about replaying it, but I did really enjoy my time in it whilst I was there. And if you like this sort of game, then you'll probably also like Deliver Us the Moon, which you can check my review out of, link down below or up on the screen as we speak.